Hey Krishna, my name's Daphne, one of the essay correctors here at IELTSpodcast.com. Thank you for sending in your essay for some feedback. So you've done IELTS before. I don't know what grade you got, but you want to upgrade, you said. This is an interesting essay, but there's quite a lot of comments to make. A lot of the language you're using is slightly unusual. A lot of the language is not quite appropriate, I'm going to say. So you've got this title, Some People Who've Been in Prison Become Good Citizens Later. Not all of them, but some. And it's argued they're the best to talk to teenagers about the dangers of committing crime. So what extent do you agree or disagree? So you start with, most of the cases people commit to crime under adverse situation without exercising the discrimination. Now, to me, that makes really not much sense. So most of the key cases, maybe when people commit crime, they are in an adverse situation without exercising discrimination, maybe. But I disagree with you there, because a lot of people do crime because they want to do crime. You're suggesting that people do crime because they have to. I wouldn't start with such a controversial sentence, and it needs to be correct. So some of the jailbirds, yeah, a little bit informal, yeah? So start with something like, it is often suggested, often seen maybe, that some former prisoners, keep it simple, or former inmates, yeah, or criminals. We can change the words around a bit. So I'd forget that sentence because I'm really not quite sure what you mean there. So I'd forget that. To start with something like this, it's often seen that some former prisoners understand their mistakes and transform themselves into flag wavers? No. Good members of the community? There's an argument that these are the best good to counsel youngsters about the risk of breaking the law. Good. I agree with this. And the rest of this essay will elaborate further. You don't need I would. On the advantages and disadvantages of what? Of employing maybe these people to educate teenagers. You can't just go advantages and disadvantages, but I need to know of what. So important to have a strong intro. This is something we talk about on the course, a really strong intro to make sure that you are starting off in the right direction. To begin with, transformed prisoners could be, the best resource. Okay, to illuminate young minds, to motivate them to tread the noble path. Okay, the noble path, no. Rather old-fashioned English, we wouldn't say this. I'm very against idioms in writing task 2. It doesn't work. So avoid these idioms. Motivate them to avoid crime, or avoid a life of crime. They can guide on the implications of violations, as well as offer to take out this, but carry on a longer sentence. Life alternative lessons. Imparted, maybe stop there. Okay. Knowledge, and then start a new sentence here. Knowledge imparted by evolved, reformed would be better. Convicts not only helps you to understand the adverse effects on the future, but also the hardships they would undergo. Not they must, but they would undergo in prison. Make that really clear what you mean. Moreover, some of the pardoned, they're not pardoned, they are reformed. It's different. Would like to undo their mistake. Well, we don't know that. But you could say may. Additionally, be very careful making these general statements. We don't know, we have to suggest it. To illustrate the fact that many volunteers in rehab are unchained inmates. I'm not sure. I'd take that out maybe. Overall, not only is there a great deal of scope for transformation in society to mould the future systems by youth and rich experience who've changed better, but also the willingness to... Okay, overall, not only is there, so the is has to come, you reverse with this structure. Is there a great deal of scope for transformation in society and to mould the future citizens, comma, by utilising the rich experience of people who've changed for the better, comma, but also their willingness to do good for society should be taken into account. Okay, so good complex sentence here. Make sure it's accurate, okay? Accuracy and coherence. You can hear that some of the things I'm just having to move around a bit to make them make sense. The coherence is really important. The online course, take a look at that, could really help you get your essay in the right order. So make sure that your reader can understand it well. So you can't have on the other hand, because you haven't had on the one hand. You could have however. Do you mean the sweet 16 population? And I definitely wouldn't use that. That doesn't work. Young people can often be inspired by celebrities. Okay, it may be difficult for them to digest the service and guidance rendered by a person who had maybe a notorious background. I mean, yeah, okay. For example, based on a recent study, there was less turnout. I'd be careful. I kind of get the idea of this example, but that doesn't really connect for me to this. If it's inspired by celebrities, then there would be a higher turnout, because you'd want to hear about the celebrity crime, wouldn't you? In addition, youthful exuberance may lead to increased resistance. Okay, I get that. That's a nice sentence to illustrate the fact that in recent times, energetic loss of population has rising tendency to lead their life as per likes and dislikes. Okay, I like this bit, Krishna, but this bit I don't like. I'll be really honest with you. That's not working in an IELTS academic style. In a nutshell, no. Keep this academic. Avoid these idioms. I know some people learn them, but avoid them in this context. It just doesn't work on the coherence. This is a good sentence, but you need to address the other half of the essay, which is who else would be good. So, yes, it could be criminals, but who else could be good? You know, so maybe the police would be better if they're not going to listen to the prisoners, or maybe there's their teachers even. So who else would they listen to? So bring that up in this paragraph. Then the task achievement, you need to get the high marks in the task achievement as well. Guiding them, absolutely good. Potential role, absolutely, really like that. Forget that. Yeah, don't start bringing in new information in the end. That is a strong ending. So I firmly believe that. So that's a super conclusion. Really like that bit. I think you need some practice. Yeah, you did it 4 years ago. It's a long time. I don't know what grade you get. You got, I would strongly suggest you look at the course or look at the pack of essay corrections we do. This is what we do. This feedback in order to improve. It is really successful because as you can see here, I'm picking out what you need to work on, trying to help you each time. So check that out. Really hope that we can do some work together to get you ready for your exam.